Hey everybody, I wanted to show you these needles here. These are the Knitter's Pride Karbonz, and this pair that I have here is a US size 4 24-inch fixed circular needle. You could also get these in DPNs, and I believe they have straights as well. Next month they are putting out a few interchangeable sets, which I'll talk more about later. Let me show you these needles close up. The first thing about these needles that I really like is the fact that the tips are really nice and pointy. And then the needles themselves are really nice and smooth. And where the tip joins this center part here and then the end and where the cord is joined, it's all very, very smooth. Sometimes on needles there's like a little bump where these are put together, but on this pair that I have here, it's all very, very smooth, and you really can hardly feel anything at all where the pieces are joined together. Even though these are nice and smooth, they're not slick like the Addi Turbos, for instance. Those are nickel-plated needles. They're smooth as well, but they're also very, very slick. And some knitters don't like that because the stitches have more of a tendency to fall off of the needles when you have the nickel-plated needles. So these are nice and smooth, but I don't think there is as much of a chance of your stitches sliding off of them. So that might be something that you're interested in. Also, these cords or cables are very, very flexible. You can see here I'm really able to twist them, and then they have like no memory at all. So even if you were to coil them up when you let them go, they're not going to stay like that. If you've ever tried the boy interchangeable set, for instance, those white cords that come with those tips are really very firm, and they have very little ability to bend like I'm doing here. So if you like to knit using the magic loop method, these might be a needle that you'd want to consider because the cords are so flexible. And then this that I have here, just a couple little swatches that I was playing around with just to see how some different yarns move over the needles. This is Lily Sugar and Cream cotton yarn, which I really don't like because a lot of times the needles seem to hold on to the yarn a little too much for me. It kind of sticks to the needles. So I tested them with the cotton yarn, and it really slides really easily over the needles. And then this is some Crystal Palace Merino, which is a really fuzzy yarn, and a lot of times you can have some trouble getting your needles into stitches with fuzzy yarn. It's kind of hard to see your stitches, but for me, I didn't have too big of a problem getting the tips of the needles into the stitches. And this yarn also slides really well over these needles. So now for those interchangeable sets, you can pre-order at Webs, which is yarn.com. They have 3 interchangeable sets. A starter set, which is $65, and you get 5 tips with that, ranging in size 2.5 up to size 6. And then you get 2 cables, a 24-inch and a 32-inch cable, which is this part here, or the cord, whatever you want to call it. And it also comes with the cable keys that you tighten when you screw in your cord to your tip. There's a little, it's like a little piece of metal with a straight, with a hook on the end of it, and you just put that in. I can't show you on this because this is a fixed circular, but if you've ever used an interchangeable set. I think the Knit Picks options all have the little key that you use to help tighten the tips onto your cords. So these interchangeable sets from Knitter's Pride will come with the little key, and then there are the end caps. Like if you have to take your tip off to use it for something else, you can screw a little cap on to keep your work from falling off of the cord. And then there are the numbered discs that come with this as well. So if you have to take your tips off of the cords and use them for something else, you can just put your little disc on and it tells you what size needle you were using. You can also get another set, the MIDI set, for $60, and that one has 4 tips ranging in sizes 7 through 10, and then you get the 24-inch and 32-inch cable and the little accessories with that as well. And then the deluxe interchangeable set, you get 9 tips. The tips are 4.5 inches, by the way. So the 9 pairs of tips ranging in size 2.5 up to size 10, and then with the deluxe set you get 4 cables, a 24-inch, 2 32-inch, and then a 40-inch cable, and all your little accessories, the ID tags, the cable keys, and the end caps. And the deluxe set is $125. So if you go to Webs, you can pre-order. They're all on back order though already. So these needles seem to be pretty popular, and they are pretty nice. So if you'd like to read more about them, I will put a link in the info below the video to take you over to Webs, where you can check out all of the different options that you have for these Knitter's Pride Karbonz needles.